The countdown has already begun. You don't see it, but it's happening every second. The calendar is bleeding into 2026, and while you're scrolling, while you're distracted, while you're making excuses for why you're not where you want to be, time is silently robbing you. Every hour that passes is one less hour you'll ever get back. Every day that slips by is another opportunity that you've buried under laziness, comfort, and self-doubt. 2026 isn't coming in the distance, it's sprinting toward you, full speed, and most of you won't even see it until it hits you in the face. You think you have time because you've been lied to. You've been told that patience is a virtue, that you should take it slow, wait for the right moment, relax, live a little. Let me tell you something, that advice is poison. There's no right moment. There's only now. You don't build an empire when it's convenient, you build it when it's necessary, when your back is against the wall, when you decide that you refuse to waste another year living like a spectator in your own life. People keep saying, I'll start next month. I'll focus after the holidays. I'll go hard next year. Guess what? That's how losers think. Winners operate with urgency because they understand that time is the only thing you can't buy back once it's gone. The man who understands time controls the game. When you wake up and realize that every minute counts, every breath counts, you start treating your life differently. You start seeing time like gold dust because that's exactly what it is. You don't waste it on gossip, negativity, or people who bring no value. You don't waste it on Netflix marathons or scrolling through someone else's highlight reel. You wake up early. You move fast, you execute relentlessly, because you know that 2026 doesn't care about your excuses, your past, or your feelings. It's coming either way. The question is, will you be ahead of it or will you be crushed by it? People underestimate how fast a year disappears. Look back at 2024, 2023, you blinked and they were gone. You said back then you'd be in shape by now, you'd have money saved, you'd be building that business. And here you are still thinking, still planning, still talking. The clock doesn't care about your plans. The clock rewards action. Every morning that you choose to sleep in, someone else wakes up earlier, trains harder, learns faster, and gets closer to taking everything you want. Life is a competition, and time is the referee. It doesn't wait for anyone. The weak stay behind and make excuses, while the strong sprint forward and create results. Every champion you admire, every top 1% man, has one thing in common: they move with urgency. They don't live like they have 80 years left. They live like they could die tomorrow. That's why they achieve more in 1 year than others do in a decade. They understand that if you don't chase time, it will hunt you down. Every day you wake up without urgency is another day of your life slipping quietly into the past. You're not losing time. You're being drained by it, slowly, invisibly, until you wake up one morning realizing you're too old to start over. That's the truth no one wants to face. So what are you doing right now? Waiting for motivation, waiting for the stars to align, waiting for someone to tell you it's your time. Let me tell you something, it is your time. It's been your time. The only problem is you haven't acted like it. You've been busy convincing yourself that you're preparing when really you're hesitating. And hesitation is just another word for fear. You fear failure. You fear judgment, you fear not being good enough, and in that fear, you waste time. But 2026 won't stop because you're scared. It won't pause because you're uncertain. The world doesn't care about your feelings, it respects only results. If you knew how fast your life is passing, you'd panic at how much time you've already wasted. You'd realize that you can't afford to be lazy for another day. You can't afford to keep saying, someday. You can't afford to move like you've got endless tomorrows. Because you don't. You've got now, this moment, this year, this chance to start moving, to start building, to start fighting for the version of you that refuses to lose when 2026 arrives. The countdown has already started, and whether you're ready or not, it's coming for you with no mercy, no second chances, no pauses, and no rewind button. Excuses are the most expensive lies you'll ever tell yourself. They cost you your potential, your discipline, your future. Every time you say, I can't, I don't have time, or I'll start later, you're writing another page in the story of your own failure. You're not unlucky, you're undisciplined. You're not being held back, you're holding yourself back. The world doesn't owe you anything, And success doesn't care how you feel. It only responds to results. That's the brutal truth nobody wants to hear, but it's the one that separates winners from everyone else. People love their excuses more than they love progress. They hide behind them, polish them, and feed them daily until they become part of their identity. They'll tell you they can't work because of their job, can't focus because of stress, can't start because the timing isn't right. But here's the thing, there's someone out there who had the same circumstances, the same struggles, the same pain, and he still made it happen. You know what that means? It means the excuse was never real. It was just weakness disguised as logic. Excuses are a comfort zone for cowards. They give you permission to stay average while pretending you're trying. They make you feel justified for not putting in the effort. But you can't lie to yourself forever. Deep down, you know when you're slacking. You know when you're wasting time. You know when you're choosing comfort over growth. And that truth eats away at you. It's the quiet guilt that builds every night before you sleep, the whisper in your head that says, you could have done more today. And when 2026 arrives, that whisper will turn into a scream. You see, the reason most people fail isn't because they're not capable, it's because they're addicted to justification. They'd rather build a list of reasons than build a plan. They'll say they don't have the right education, the right genetics, the right support, the right environment. Listen carefully, none of that matters. The world doesn't reward excuses, it rewards execution. Nobody cares if your childhood was hard. Nobody cares if you're tired. Nobody cares if you feel like giving up. The universe pays attention to the man who moves forward regardless of how he feels. That's what defines greatness, doing it even when it hurts. Excuses are the chains that keep you from escaping mediocrity. Every time you choose to explain instead of execute, you add another link to that chain. And the longer you let it stay, the heavier it becomes. Soon, you won't even try to break free because the weight of your own excuses will convince you that you can't. That's what happens to most people. They become prisoners of their own words. They live inside the walls they built with maybe later, I'm too tired, I'll start tomorrow. The truth is, you're never too tired to chase your dream, you're just too comfortable to sacrifice for it. You're not too busy to improve, you're just prioritizing distractions over discipline. And until you admit that to yourself, nothing will change. The moment you stop giving excuses oxygen, your life begins to shift. The second you take accountability, full, raw, unapologetic accountability, you unlock a version of yourself that can't be stopped. Because when you own everything, nothing can control you. People always ask, how do I get motivated? You don't. You stop relying on motivation and start relying on discipline. Motivation is emotional, it fades. Discipline is built, it lasts. The man who moves only when he feels like it will lose to the man who moves no matter what. That's why the winners in life don't need to explain themselves. They don't justify failure, they fix it. They don't cry about problems, they crush them. Because they understand one thing: excuses are for people who plan to stay exactly where they are. You have to kill your excuses before they kill your dreams. Because make no mistake, they will. They'll whisper in your ear every morning telling you to rest a little longer, to take it easy, to start later. They'll tell you that you deserve comfort, that you've done enough. But comfort is the bait and mediocrity is the trap. The longer you listen, the more you lose. Every great man you've ever admired became great because he ignored the voice of weakness in his mind. He acted even when it didn't feel right. He executed when everyone else was hesitating. That's how you win, by refusing to give yourself the easy way out. When 2026 arrives, you'll either look back with pride or regret. Pride that you took ownership, that you didn't waste another year making excuses, or regret that you talked big but acted small. You get to decide that right now, because every excuse you kill today becomes another reason you'll succeed tomorrow. You want to win in 2026, then you have to become something unrecognizable from who you are right now. You can't walk into the next era of your life carrying the same softness, the same hesitation, the same laziness that's been holding you back. You have to rebuild yourself from the ground up, physically, mentally, emotionally, until you move through life like a war machine. That's what I mean when I say transformation. You don't get it from reading motivational quotes or listening to speeches. You get it through suffering, through structure, through self-discipline that turns you into something sharper than pain itself. The world respects one thing: strength. Not fake bravado, not talk, not ego, real strength. Strength that comes from doing the hard things when nobody's watching. Strength that's built when you wake up before the sun, train when you don't want to, work when your body screams to stop. Every day you either sharpen your blade or you let it rust. There's no in between. The man who dominates 2026 will be the man who trained in silence in 2025. The one who took no days off, who used every failure as fuel, who turned discomfort into power. That's the mindset of a war machine, relentless, emotionless toward excuses, obsessed with progress. Building yourself into a weapon isn't about motivation, it's about discipline. Motivation fades the moment things get difficult. Discipline keeps you moving when everything else breaks. Discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers. It's the difference between someone who talks about what they're going to do and someone who's too busy doing it to talk. You've got to stop waiting for energy and start generating it. You've got to stop looking for inspiration and start acting like your future depends on it, because it does. The war machine doesn't ask for comfort. It doesn't care if it's tired. It doesn't care if it's cold. It doesn't care if it's hard. It moves forward always. That's how you have to operate. You think success feels good every day. It doesn't. You think people who win are always confident. They're not. But they act anyway. They've trained their minds to ignore feelings. That's what separates them from everyone else. Feelings are temporary. Standards are permanent. Once your standards rise, your entire life changes. You start demanding more from yourself than anyone else ever could. You start holding yourself accountable like a soldier preparing for battle. That's how you become unstoppable. Every single day is training. You're either building power or losing it. The moment you skip the gym, the moment you hit snooze, the moment you let one lazy decision slide, that's another chip taken out of your armor. You can't afford that. You have to be ruthless about your own improvement, because the world isn't waiting for you to get ready. The world is testing you every second. Every obstacle, every setback, every failure, it's all part of the battle. But a war machine doesn't complain about the battlefield. It studies it, adapts, and conquers it. People talk about wanting success, wanting freedom, wanting wealth, but they're not built for it. They're built for comfort. You can't hold both. Comfort and greatness don't coexist. You either choose comfort and live with regret, or choose discipline and live with dominance. Building a war machine means understanding that pain isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. Every rep, every sacrifice, every lonely night you spend working while everyone else is sleeping, that's the price of power. And the more pain you endure willingly, the stronger you become. The reason most people never become what they want is because they stop when it gets hard. But that's exactly where transformation begins. The moment you push past the point where you normally quit, that's when your real self starts to emerge. That's when you realize you're capable of so much more than you thought. That's the point where comfort dies and the weapon is forged. You have to condition your mind to thrive in pressure. Pressure is the environment where warriors are made. When everything feels heavy, when your back is against the wall, when no one believes in you, that's when you dig deeper. You move faster. You train harder. You think sharper. You perform when everyone else folds. That's what makes you different. That's what will separate you from the millions who'll be crying in 2026 about how unfair life is. Because while they were distracted, you were preparing. While they were giving up, you were leveling up. While they were living soft, you were becoming a machine. By the time 2026 arrives, you won't need to tell people who you are. They'll feel it when you walk into the room. They'll sense it from your energy, your focus, your silence. That's what happens when you spend every single day building the strongest, most disciplined version of yourself. You stop needing validation because your results speak for you. You stop needing motivation because your mission becomes your identity. You don't chase power, you become power. That's what being a war machine truly means. Everybody wants money. Everybody wants power. Everybody talks about purpose. But very few people ever align the three, and that's why they stay broke, weak, and lost. You can't just chase money without direction, and you can't chase purpose without aggression. The man who wins is the man who builds a system where money fuels his mission, power amplifies his influence, and purpose keeps him disciplined. That's the formula the top 1% lives by, and the rest never figure it out because they're too busy chasing one without mastering the others. Most people are broke not because they're dumb, but because they don't understand the game. The world is not designed to make you rich. It's designed to make you dependent. You're told to get a degree, get a job, follow rules, and stay in line because the system needs workers, not winners. You trade your time for pennies while the powerful use their time to multiply everything they touch. You think you're safe because you've got a paycheck, but safety is an illusion. The second they decide you're replaceable, your entire life collapses. That's why real freedom begins the moment you decide to stop being controlled by the system. Money is not evil. Money is power, and power is protection. It gives you options, leverage, freedom. It lets you walk away from disrespect. It lets you build, grow, and lead. The weak love to say money doesn't buy happiness, but that's only because they've never had it. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys the space to build it. It buys the freedom to think clearly, to operate with peace, to control your time. But here's the catch: money without purpose is poison. It turns you into a slave to materialism. That's why most rich people are still miserable. They got the cash, but they never found the cause. You have to attach money to mission. Every dollar should have direction. When your purpose drives your hustle, you move differently. You wake up with energy. You make decisions with clarity. You build not just to flex, but to dominate your lane and make an impact. Purpose gives money meaning, and money gives purpose muscle. Without both, you're incomplete. That's the truth that separates the kings from the clowns. Power is the next level. Power isn't just about control, it's about influence. It's the ability to shape your environment instead of being shaped by it. Power means when you speak, people listen. When you move, things happen. But power only respects strength. Nobody hands it to you. You take it through work, consistency, and mental dominance. Power doesn't come from luck, it comes from preparation. From years of outworking, outthinking, and outlasting everyone else in the room. And here's the real secret: purpose without power is noise, and power without purpose is chaos. You have to balance both. You have to build an inner code that governs how you use power. Because real power is silent, calm, controlled. It's the man who doesn't need to prove anything because he already knows who he is. That's the type of man who runs 2026. The one who's not chasing validation, not flexing online, not wasting energy proving a point. He's too busy executing his vision. But none of this happens if you don't have alignment. You can't say you want success and still waste your time gossiping. You can't say you want freedom and still live paycheck to paycheck. You can't say you have purpose and still procrastinate every day. You can't talk power if you're scared to take risks. You have to bring everything into harmony: your money, your mindset, your mission. Once those three move together, you become untouchable. People who lack alignment always burn out. They hustle hard for a few months, then collapse because they never had a reason deeper than greed or fear. But when you have a mission that's bigger than you, when you're building something for your name, your legacy, your bloodline, that's when you can't be stopped. Purpose turns fatigue into fuel. It turns pain into drive. You stop counting hours and start counting wins. You've got to stop separating your grind from your vision. Your money should be building your power. Your power should be serving your purpose. And your purpose should be keeping you grounded when success starts testing your character. That's the triangle of true domination: money, power, purpose, feeding each other, driving each other, keeping you dangerous and focused. The average man is chasing money to survive. The elite man is building systems to multiply it. The average man uses power to impress. The elite man uses power to protect. The average man searches for purpose when he's lost. The elite man builds his purpose through action. That's the difference. That's why one dies unnoticed and the other lives forever in influence. You need to decide right now: are you building wealth to look rich or to be free? Are you chasing status to impress strangers or building power to protect your vision? Are you drifting through life hoping to find meaning, or are you creating it through discipline and sacrifice? Because the alignment of those three things, money, power, and purpose, will decide whether 2026 becomes your victory year or another wasted chapter. Comfort is the most dangerous drug in the world. It doesn't kill you fast. It kills you slowly, quietly, softly, until one day you wake up and realize you've wasted years doing nothing that mattered. You tell yourself you're fine, that life's okay, that you deserve to relax, to rest, to take a break. But that's the trap. That's how mediocrity wins. That's how potential dies. Comfort convinces you that you're safe, while it quietly robs you of every ounce of hunger that made you want more. It's not your enemies holding you back. It's your addiction to being comfortable. You don't grow when you're comfortable. You grow when you're uncomfortable, when you're tested, when you're pushed to your limits. That's where character is forged. Every man who became great, every champion, every leader, every empire builder, they all had one thing in common: they learned to make discomfort their home. They trained when others slept. They worked when others quit, and they suffered in silence while the world laughed. And that suffering turned them into something the weak could never understand. Comfort feels good now, but it costs you later. Pain feels bad now, but it pays you later. The problem is, most people would rather choose the temporary pleasure of comfort over the permanent satisfaction of discipline. They'll take a warm bed over a cold grind. They'll choose an easy path over a hard challenge. They'll choose entertainment over execution. And then they wonder why life feels empty, why success never finds them, why their confidence fades year after year. It's because comfort has eaten their soul. You see, the world doesn't reward comfort. It rewards courage. Every great thing you'll ever achieve lies on the other side of discomfort. The moment you choose to do what's hard, what's painful, what's scary, that's the moment you start separating yourself from the herd. Because most people can't handle discomfort for more than a few minutes. They'll quit when it gets heavy. They'll stop when it hurts. But you can't win if you live like that. You can't become unstoppable if you break every time life gets difficult. The only way to build strength is to force yourself through what your mind tells you to avoid. You have to learn to destroy comfort before it destroys you. You have to hunt discomfort like it's your fuel. Wake up early when your body wants to sleep. Train when you don't feel like it. Work when it's boring. Focus when you're tired. That's how you rewire your brain for greatness. That's how you create mental toughness. Every time you choose the hard path, you're sharpening your edge. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're building the foundation of dominance. The problem with comfort is that it feels harmless. It doesn't scream danger, it whispers it. It tells you, take it easy, you've done enough today. It tells you, you deserve rest, you'll start tomorrow. And that's how it gets you. It convinces you that you're not quitting, you're just delaying. But delay long enough, and delay becomes your lifestyle. Before you know it, you've built a habit of hesitation. You've trained your brain to choose the easy way every time. And once that pattern locks in, breaking it feels impossible. The truth is, you can't build a strong life on soft habits. You can't build a powerful mind if you're always chasing comfort. The man who wins in 2026 is the one who looks at pain and says, let's go. The one who looks at fear and steps forward anyway. The one who doesn't care how he feels, he just executes. Because he understands that comfort isn't peace. It's paralysis. It's disguised weakness. It makes you forget how capable you are. It makes you doubt your own potential. You have to reprogram your relationship with pain. Stop running from it. Embrace it. Use it. Every time life gets hard, every time things don't go your way, every time you feel resistance, understand that it's not there to punish you, it's there to prepare you. That's the universe testing whether you're serious about your goals. And if you fold every time it gets uncomfortable, you'll never earn the right to call yourself relentless. Look around. The world is soft. People complain about everything. They want results without effort, status without struggle, respect without sacrifice. That's why mediocrity has become normal. But if you want to stand out, if you want to dominate, if you want to walk into 2026 as a different beast, you must live by a new rule: seek discomfort daily. Chase the things that challenge you. Surround yourself with people who push you, not people who make you feel good about being average. The more you lean into pain, the stronger you become. You can't evolve if you keep choosing what's easy. You can't lead if you can't suffer. You can't win if you're addicted to being comfortable. The fire inside you only grows when it's fed with struggle. The question is, do you want to stay warm in comfort or burn with greatness in discipline? Because one path will keep you safe and the other will make you unstoppable. 2026 isn't just another year on the calendar. It's the mirror that's going to show you everything you did or didn't do. It's the year that will expose the pretenders, the talkers, the procrastinators, and it will crown the ones who were grinding in silence when everyone else was distracted. 2026 will not reward hope. It will reward hustle. It won't listen to excuses. It will measure effort. It won't care about what you meant to do, only what you actually did. The time for promises is over. The countdown to exposure has already begun. You think 2026 is far away, but blink twice and it'll be standing in front of you. Every day between now and then is a test of discipline, of focus, of consistency. Right now, while most people are still debating their goals, someone else is already building them. Someone else is already stacking cash, improving skills, mastering their body, sharpening their mind. And when the clock hits January 1st, 2026, they'll step into that year ready for war, while the rest are still trying to figure out how another year disappeared. That's what the reckoning means. The moment where preparation meets reality. Life doesn't care about your dreams, it cares about your execution. The results you'll have in 2026 are being built right now in the quiet moments no one sees. Every decision you make today echoes into that future. Every workout you skip, every hour you waste, every comfort you choose, it's all part of the story you're writing. And the truth is, 2026 will read that story out loud for everyone to see. You won't be able to hide from it. Your success or failure will speak for itself. That's why every day between now and then matters. Most people will keep living on autopilot, waiting for next year. To be different, waiting for luck, waiting for motivation. But the truth is, if you're not building momentum now, you won't magically find it later. Success isn't an event, it's a consequence. It's what happens when you stop treating time like it's endless and start treating it like it's oxygen. You either use it wisely or you run out of it. You can't cheat the process. You can't lie to the grind. It always knows the truth. 2026 will divide people into two groups, the prepared and the unprepared, the builders and the watchers, the disciplined and the comfortable, the ones who sacrificed and the ones who wish they had. Every choice you make now decides which side you'll stand on. When that year comes, you'll either rise as the product of your dedication or collapse as the victim of your distractions. And when that moment arrives, you can't buy more time, you can't fake consistency, you can't rewind and redo what you ignored. That's why this moment right now matters more than any other. The year of reckoning isn't a threat, it's a revelation. It's the year that exposes who's real, because the truth always finds its way out. The man who stayed consistent will glow without even trying. His confidence will be natural, his success undeniable. The man who wasted time will try to pretend he's fine, but deep down he'll feel it. That quiet shame of knowing he had the same 24 hours, the same chances, the same days, and he chose to waste them. That's the pain that cuts deeper than failure, the pain of knowing you could have won, but didn't. 2026 is not your enemy, it's your scoreboard. It's not here to destroy you, it's here to judge your discipline. All those nights you skipped the grind, they'll show. All those times you hesitated instead of acting, they'll show. Every lazy morning, every missed opportunity, every excuse, they all add up. But so does every rep, every late night of focus, every day of hard work. The universe never forgets what you put in. It just waits for the right time to reveal the balance sheet. This isn't about fear, it's about truth. If you want 2026 to be your breakthrough, you have to start living like it already began. You can't act like you have endless time. You can't keep putting your goals on hold. You have to operate with the urgency of a man who knows the clock is ticking. Because it is. And when that clock hits zero, when 2026 stands before you, it will ask one question: what did you do with the time I gave you? Most people won't have an answer. They'll talk about their intentions, their ideas, their plans. But that's not what life rewards. Life rewards those who moved, who fought, who bled for their dreams. Those who didn't wait for permission. those who didn't waste another sunrise, those who didn't settle for average when greatness was on the table. Those are the ones who will walk into 2026 with their heads high, ready to dominate the world they've been building for years while everyone else was sleeping. You have a choice right now to keep coasting or to start constructing. Because when 2026 arrives, you'll either be explaining your failure or enjoying your victory. The countdown is running, and every second that passes brings you closer to the moment where the truth can't be hidden anymore. The year of reckoning is coming, and it belongs to the ones who refuse to waste another breath on excuses. When the dust settles and the clock finally strikes 2026, there will be two types of people standing on opposite sides of the same line: those who acted and those who waited. Those who built their lives through pain, discipline, and consistency, and those who sat back believing they had more time. The difference between them won't be luck, talent, or intelligence. It will be the decisions made in silence, the mornings they got up when no one cared, the sacrifices they made when no one clapped, the battles they fought when no one was watching. 2026 isn't a year you prepare for when it arrives. It's a year you earn before it comes. Every late night you push through, every workout, every rejection you turn into fuel, all of it is being recorded in the invisible balance sheet of your life. And when that year dawns, the universe will present your results without apology or mercy. That's what this is about: accountability. The world doesn't care about your words. It responds only to your work. So if you've been sleeping, wake up. If you've been waiting, move. If you've been doubting, act. You've already wasted enough time convincing yourself you're not ready. Nobody is ever ready. They become ready through relentless action. Every day between now and 2026 is your training ground. Every obstacle is a test. Every moment is a choice: comfort or greatness, hesitation or domination, weakness or war. Because when 2026 arrives, there won't be time to prepare. The only question that will matter is, did you build the version of yourself that can win? The version that doesn't fold under pressure, that doesn't make excuses, that doesn't stop when it hurts. That's who this world will belong to. The few who refused to waste their chance, who destroyed comfort, who aligned money, power, and purpose, who lived every day like it mattered, because it does. This is your warning. This is your reminder. This is your call to arms. The countdown isn't coming, it's here. And when that clock hits 2026, make sure you're not just ready to survive it. Make sure you're ready to own it.